Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Hamid, Wisdom School. This is another course of conditionals. This is conditional type 2. Last time we did conditional type 1, now conditional type 2. It's okay? That's conditional type 2. Before I start the course, please stay at home. We are here trying to help you. Stay at home. You will be safe. Your mother will be safe. Your father, grandparents, your neighbors. It's your responsibility to be at home. Take care of yourself. Don't stress yourself. And Morocco will be safe if you stay at home. Well, if I were rich, I would help the poor nowadays. If I were rich. Normally in English, we don't say I were. We say I was. But with conditionals, we see if I were. If I were, you were, he were, she were, it were, we were, you were, they were. In conditionals, okay? So, if I were rich, I would help the poor people nowadays. This means at the present time. Of course, I am not rich, and I cannot help a lot of poor people. I can help some people, of course. Okay, perfect. Second sentence. If I had enough time, I could read more books these days. The third sentence, Moroccans might help their country if they stayed at home. The form, what is the form of conditional type 2? It's if plus the verb in the past simple. Past simple. What is past simple? It's a tense, and we have two different forms. One, it's irregular. They are verbs plus ed. Visit, visited. Stay, stayed. Watch, watched. And we have a list of irregular verbs that everybody knows or should know. I go, in the past I went. I have, I had. Here we have a list. Just example, go, it becomes went. And the verb see, in the past it's saw. Good. So this is the first part. If plus past simple. Here, for example, if I were. We don't say I was if I was, because I was is real. When you say last week I was in Meknes, it means last week. It's a real sentence. I was in Meknes. Here, I am not now in Meknes. I can say, if I were in Meknes now, I would visit my brother, for example. But I am not. It's okay? I am in Fez. Good. So if I were rich, I would help. The second part of the sentence, I would, or could, or might. Of course, plus the verb in the infinitive. Infinitive, it means verb. Here it's a bare infinitive. So, if I had enough time, I could read. This is bare infinitive. Infinitive without to. What's the difference between 1, 2, and 3? For number 1 and number 2, we have if plus the verb. And here we have a comma. And here we don't have if in the beginning, we have if in the middle. So there is no comma, there is no punctuation. This is the only difference. You can say, if I were rich, I would help the poor nowadays. The poor or poor people. It's okay? The poor, it means poor people. The rich, rich people. The black, it means black people. And we are all children of Adam, and now we need more. We need to be one body. Forget about differences, forget about religions. We've got to think about humanity as a whole. Good. So I said, if I were rich, I would help the poor nowadays. Or I would help the poor nowadays if I were rich. Same. Just if we start with if, we have here comma. And if we have if in the middle, there is no punctuation. Good. For the use of conditional type 2. For conditional type 1, we speak about the future. If I have time tomorrow, I will visit you. Yeah, now it's not tomorrow. It's if I were rich, I would help the poor nowadays. What does nowadays mean? It means at the present time. So we speak in the present. We speak about an action which is in the present. If I were rich, I am not rich. If I had enough money, I don't have money. Moroccans might help their country. They can help the country. So for the use, we use conditional type 2 to speak about an action which is impossible. An action which is impossible. An example. I don't live in Casablanca. Now I can't visit my friend Ahmed in Casablanca. If I had time and if it were possible, I could visit my friend Ahmed today. Is it possible today to go to Casablanca? No, it's not possible. Okay? The quarantine or quarantine, pronounced too, is الحجر صحي. You cannot leave your city for health reasons. Of course, now if you want to go from Fez to Casablanca, there is a possibility that you will contaminate people. There's a possibility that you will face a lot of problems. So it's better to stay at home. You cannot go to Casablanca. So the sentence will be, if I had time and it were possible for me, I would, I could, I might go to visit my friend Ahmed in Casablanca. Is this possible? No, it's not. Another example. I can't buy a Lamborghini because I don't have enough money. Now, if I had money, I could buy a Lamborghini today. I don't speak Chinese. I can't study in Beijing. I don't speak Chinese. I can't study in Beijing. Beijing is the capital of China. Peking, Beijing. The sentence will be, if I spoke Chinese, I could, or I would, or I might study in Beijing. I think this is the conditional type 2. Of course, conditional type 1 for the future, and conditional type 2 for the present, and we are going to see the conditional type 3 after. Please concentrate and stay at home. If you want Morocco to be safe, stay at home. It's your responsibility. Yeah, you can give me some examples after, and they can correct for you. Thank you.